Welcome to this new video where we're going to talk a bit about racing game news. There are two pieces of news, two updates that came out this afternoon that I wanted to share with you, which concern two different games. The first one is about Need for Speed. We'll talk about it quickly, and you'll see that there isn't necessarily any very good news. The second one is good news. Assetto Corsa Evo's developers are sharing more details about the upcoming update, version 0.8. There are quite a few things that are going to change, and I'll explain all of that to you today. Let me know in the comments what you think of these news updates, especially about Assetto Evo. Are you satisfied with the version 0.8 announcements? Feel free to like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and is appreciated. The first news item is quick to cover, but unfortunately, it's not good news. But this afternoon, the head of Battlefield Europe confirmed that Criterion, which is the former studio that used to develop Need for Speed, and was, let's say, kind of brought back to work on Battlefield development, especially for Battlefield 6. Criterion was no longer working on new Need for Speed games, so they could focus on updates and the development of Battlefield 6. There was little hope, but some still wished Criterion would become independent again and make a new Battlefield or Need for Speed. That's not happening, because it has just been confirmed that Criterion will remain a Battlefield studio and that there are currently no plans to develop a new Need for Speed or a new Burnout. So, apparently, Need for Speed died a few years ago with Need for Speed Underground. And unless there's a major turnaround, it's gone forever for Need for Speed. So there you go. Now you know, and now we're still going to talk about the good news of the day, because just a few weeks after the release of the 0.7 update for Assetto Corsa Evo, the developers are already talking about the 0.8 update. It's good news already because we've gotten used to it taking a long time between updates. There have even been times when there were several months of total silence. Now, it seems to be moving a bit faster, since the devs are explaining to us what we're going to get in this update. Before I continue, remember Assetto Corsa Evo is much cheaper through my link below this video. You can get it for 20 euros instead of 40 on official stores, a 50% discount. Using my link to buy games supports my channel, so thank you to those who check it out. For version 0.8 of the game, 3 new cars will already be added. There will be the KTM Expo in the GT2 category. For those who don't know, it's a carbon single-seater equipped with a turbocharged 5-cylinder engine. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same one found in the Audi RS3. The second car will be the GT4 version of the Expo, so the same car but with a slightly smaller engine. A car that's a bit less powerful, but maybe also a little easier to drive and even a bit lighter. And the third confirmed car is the Volkswagen Golf 8, hoping that this one will have some possibilities for interior and exterior customization, official Volkswagen customizations, so that we can make it a bit more personal. With 3 confirmed models, it's possible, and I hope, that more cars will be added later in this update. But there's not really a rule. Let's say that with Assetto Corsa, they can release updates with 8 cars at once. Or they can release updates with only 3 cars. It's happened before, so it can happen. We're also getting a new track, the Kyalami GP circuit, so that's not all the new content. The game is also stepping things up for community-made content. The previous update, 0.7, introduced the car editor, but only for single player, so basically, you could start modding Assetto Corsa Evo by editing cars yourself. But up until now, you could only use them in single player. By the way, just a quick note on that. If you know of a website where you can download modded cars for Assetto Evo, let me know. Because it seems like right now, there isn't any site offering them. Maybe there are too many obstacles to making mods right now, so it's not appealing for modders to create cars for the game? Or I might just not know the right places. If you do, please share in the comments. In any case, the good news is that with the arrival of this 0.8 modded cars will also be usable in multiplayer. For that, the game will use a SHA verification system. To put it simply, the game will check that each player has exactly the same version of a modded car. If the game detects a player trying to cheat or access the server with a car that isn't the exact one specified in the mod, it will recognize that it's not the allowed modded car. On the server, the connection will simply be refused even before the loading can start. Still on the creation side, it's now possible with this 0.8 to create liveries. So basically to rework paint jobs and exterior appearances based on cars that are already in the game. So it's moving forward, even if for now, it seems to be a bit of a headache to make mods on Assetto Corsa Evo. Still, it's not necessarily the best news. The good news for me, and I think it will also be good news for everyone, is that there's been a big breakthrough for VR, virtual reality, since Assetto Evo will now offer a new VR rendering method. Apparently, this miracle method allows for both higher quality and smoother images. It's called foveated rendering. Basically, the game will render the image in very high quality only where you're looking, while the peripheral areas, which aren't immediately in your field of vision, are rendered with less detail. Because up until now, basically, Assetto Evo was trying to render everything, all the time, in 360 degrees just in case you decided to turn your head. There will also be quite a few new options for VR, like adjusting resolution density, setting super sampling, and a new anti-aliasing specifically for VR to smooth out the edges and avoid that sort of stair-step effect you could sometimes get. And most importantly, it will be possible to have a VR performance mode and a normal performance mode. Basically, you'll be able to set up your game in advance in two different ways. Have one set up for when your VR headset is plugged in, and another for when you aren't using it, so you don't have to reconfigure each time. The same applies to the base game. There will be quite a bit of optimization of the graphics engine, since the game will now manage things a bit more intelligently. The VRAM, which is the memory of the graphics card, so that the textures, 3D models, cars, environments, in short, everything that is displayed will be shown while taking into account the memory that is actually available, and no longer based on what the game thought was available. Sometimes the game thought you had more memory available than you actually did, and it would try to load more information on the screen, which could simply make you lag, or even crash the game. So, better optimization, but also new graphical effects that have been reworked, especially windshield effects. I'm not sure how far it will go, but we know new windshield wiper effects are coming, already good in Assetto Evo. With this update, we might match what Drive Club achieved years ago, plus improved rain splash management from cars ahead. So it's all about the details, but Assetto Evo is already a beautiful game, so it's normal that now it's all about the details. There will also be improvements to the physics, with yet another new tire model that will be added to the game, which this time will better calculate the track temperature, better calculate the impact of this temperature, and different weather conditions on the tire grip and the car's grip. A new suspension management system, with in particular better camber management, brake temperature that will now be influenced by electronic braking aids, and debugging for cars equipped with rear-wheel steering that doesn't work, or doesn't always work, or doesn't work properly. Multiplayer improvements were made, including a bug fix. When you entered the pits, the game treated your fuel tank as larger than it was, continuing to fill it even when it had reached its actual maximum capacity, which kept the car in the pits, prevented us from leaving, and therefore made us lose time. Small detail: the pop-up headlights will now be synchronized with the gameplay for everyone. Sometimes, for one player, the pop-up headlights would be deployed, while in the same race. For another player, they wouldn't be. But also other bug fixes like the crash when connecting to certain servers in multiplayer, and also the crash, and I think that's very good news, the crash that could happen when you had the latest NVIDIA drivers, especially for everyone who has a 5080 or 5090 and installed the latest NVIDIA drivers. Those, which came out in May, if I'm not mistaken, May 2026. Randomly, the game would start crashing after 5 to 10 minutes of gameplay, which forced you to reinstall old drivers to use that card. The problem is that, at the same time, there were games that required the latest versions, so it was really annoying. Another small new feature: it will now be possible to customize your license plate on certain cars, with an automatic character limit. You can theoretically write anything you want, as long as it fits the plate format. That's good news. However, unfortunately, there's still no information about the release date of this 0.8, and still no information about the arrival of the open world either. That's the thing that was by far the most heavily promoted. Before the game's release, it was pushed hard, and now that it's out, we hardly hear about it anymore, which is annoying since it was meant to revolutionize the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and check out my Twitch streams. I'm often live with Assetto and other solo or multiplayer games. Follow and use your Prime if you'd like, it's appreciated. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for future videos, since I'll keep following Assetto updates closely and regularly make videos about it for you. Thank you for watching this video, and see you soon for another one. Bye.